Hello, this is Essie, the homeless woman. I want to talk to you guys about something this morning. It's Saturday between 11 and 11:30, and I was supposed to be at someone's house at 11:30 for a private ride, but it's not happening. I'm not going. And I haven't called the person and told them that I'm not coming because yesterday I did a private ride for them. And I had done a private ride for her in the past. But yesterday, when I did the private ride, I didn't feel comfortable. Um, I know things feel strange when you're first meeting people. And the first time I did the private ride for her, she had a friend with her from out of town. Because she's really from out of town. She's from South Carolina. But her and her husband moved here, her and her family. So when her and her friend when her friend came here and I did the private ride, they kind of were standoffish in the beginning. I believe it's because I'm a black woman. That's what I believe. Um, but as the day went on, they got more relaxed and and got more comfortable, and it was okay. Which I mean, I understand if you're Caucasian and you have never really been around black people, you don't have friends, black friends, and you don't have black people in your family, and you just never really been around, I can understand that you would be uncomfortable when you are around a black person. Because I was the same way when I started being around Caucasian people. And I started being around Caucasian people in 2011 when I became homeless. Up until then, I had never been around Caucasian people for as going to their house, going out to eat with them, things like that. I had always was around Caucasian people when I worked, but that's different. I had Caucasian coworkers, Caucasian customers, but that's different. So when I started being around Caucasian people in 2011, going into their homes, to their church, like really start being around them, I was uncomfortable in the beginning. But then as time went on, it's nothing for me to be around Caucasian people, like nothing at all now. But I mean, in the past, I could not go and sit around at a table with a bunch of Caucasian people, and it's just me. But now I can do that. So I understand that, you know, you might be uncomfortable if you're a white person and it's your first time being around a black person. But this was my second time driving for her. And we had text over the phone. She actually wanted me to pick up her father from the airport before I did this second private ride for her. And I told her, of course, and I said it would be $200, which, and she never responded. I guess she thought that was too much. She didn't want to pay that. But for me to go pick up her father, it is an hour and a half, about an hour and a half drive for me to go pick up her father, and to bring him back would have been an hour and 45 minutes to bring him to her address. So I think $200 was fair, a fair price. I asked my mother, did she think that was a fair price? She said yes. So I don't know what she was expecting for me to charge for that long distance drive. So she didn't respond until just recently when she wanted me to do this private ride, the second private ride. So, oh, and excuse me, I haven't got dressed yet. I'm still laying down. Don't feel like getting dressed right now. But so yesterday I told her my van was in, I got hit by a drunk driver. So I have a Prius I'm renting, and it only seats 3 passengers. So she said it was 4 of them, and she asked me would I be willing to drive their car. I said sure. So she said to be there at 2:30. I got there at 2:30. I texted her, told her I was there. She said they were running 15 minutes late, which I don't mind waiting 15 minutes because the clock starts when I get there. So if you tell me 2:30, you got me waiting 15 minutes, it starts at 2:30. So um then I saw them getting in the car. She sent me a text and said we are ready, but I didn't see the text. I just saw them getting in the car. So I got out. I got my belongings, and so they were all in the car. So I said to the man that was sitting in the front seat, passenger seat, with his door open, I said, "Excuse me," because I just didn't want to walk up and open their trunk. And I asked him, "Can I put some things in the trunk?" Because I be waiting for people like 2 hours, sometimes more than 2 hours. So I like to bring a lot of things to keep me occupied. I have my crochet, my yarn, so I can crochet. I have my Bible just in case I want to make my scripture readings. Um, what else did I have? My lunch. So I have my tablet. Everything to keep me occupied, so I don't be bored. So he came and he opened the trunk. So I put my stuff. He said, "By the way, he introduced himself to me." I said, oh, "Okay." I told him my name. So I think he's a military man. But he got in the car on the passenger side, and I got in the driver's seat. When I got in, I spoke to everybody. I said, "Hello. Do you think anybody spoke back?" I said, "Well, maybe they didn't hear me." And I said, "Hello. Do you think anybody spoke back?" No. So I'm puzzled. I'm like, "Okay, that's weird. So even her husband that was sitting in the passenger seat next to me, he kind of like looked back, because nobody spoke. So I put it in reverse and I backed out of the driveway. And I'm thinking to myself, is that the lady in the back that I'm text to on the phone that I took her in the past, with the other lady I drove for? I said, is that her? I'm like, I can't tell because I looked back at her in the mirror, kind of like wondering, like, why is she not speaking? And I'm like, well, maybe that's not her. I didn't know she was going to have me driving for other people. I'm like, whatever, but. So as I'm trying to figure out, is that the lady sitting in the back that is bothering me, because I'm like, why she didn't speak? So when I get to the location that they want to go to, I pull up in front of the place. And so she gets out. Everybody got out now, but she's the last one to get out because she was sitting in the back. So she gets out. She said, "Okay, Essie, I'll text you when we're ready." I was like, "Okay." And I said to myself, "That's her. That's her." So I'm like, why didn't she speak when I spoke to her? Like, what? And I was talking to my mother last night about it. And she said, some people are not raised that way. They're not raised with manners and stuff. We're raised to have manners, and we have to say good morning and all this stuff. I said, I understand that some people are not raised with manners. But when someone speak to you and you just don't speak back, I'm like, you don't have to be raised to speak to someone when they speak to you. So I didn't like that. Um, it was just very awkward that it was 4 of them, right? So there was a couple there, I guess they were from out of town. They never spoke. They never said a word to me. And I just felt like it was this "you're beneath me" type of thing. That's what I felt. Because I heard someone say that people treat you how they feel about you. And when I heard this woman say that, I said, you know what? That is so true. That's so true. People treat you how they feel about you. So the fact that I got in that car, I spoke 2 times and nobody parted their lips to say anything back to me. That tells me how they feel about me. I'm not worthy of them to even open their lips to speak to me. So I took them to the first location. They were in there for about 3 hours. And she texted me that they were ready. So I drove up to the front of the location. I took them to the second location. And they were there, I would say, about 2.5 hours. Because I drove for them a total of 6.5 hours. And so when they said they were ready, I went to the front of the location, picked them up, and I asked them where's the next place they want to go to, and they said home. So I took them home. I drove into the driveway, and the husband asked me to let up all the windows. I let up all the windows. And so I was getting out of the car. I gave the lady that I texted to over the phone, that I drove for in the past, I gave her the keys, and I told her I had to get some things out of the trunk. So she went to the back to the trunk with me, and I got my things out. She confirmed that, to be back tomorrow at 11:30. I said, okay. So I got my things out of the trunk. I put them in the Prius that I was renting. And so I was just about to go and get in the driver's seat. And I said, wait a minute. I didn't get paid. So I turned around and they were all talking in front of their house. So I just didn't walk up right up on them. I kind of stood back at the end of the car and I called her. And so she turned around and said, what's wrong? And I said, are you going to pay me tomorrow? Or she said, I'll Venmo you tonight and then I'll Venmo you again tomorrow. I said, okay, thank you. So she didn't say anything. They kept talking. So I left. And I don't know about you guys, but if someone works for me, I pay them right when they finish. That's just how you're supposed to do business. Why, if someone come and do a service for you, and they did it for you right then and there, and then you turn around and you say, I'll Venmo you tonight or later or whatever. No, you pay right there. You stop what you're doing and you pay that person. They just like dismissed me, but you need me to drive you here and there. But I felt dismissed last night. I felt like I wasn't important enough for you to hold off on your conversation to pay me. So I left. It was 9 o'clock when I dropped them off. So I'm going down the street and thinking about the whole day and how I felt that it really was racial. I really did. I felt it was racial. And it's so sad that things have to be like that, It really is. What does race have to do with anything? So I leave. I get back to my area. Time is going by. It's 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30, and now it's 11 o'clock. I dropped him off 2 hours ago, and I still haven't gotten the Venmo yet. And I'm like, you know what? If this was back in the day, I used to be very timid and shy, very extremely. Like, if it was back in the day, I still wouldn't have texted her right now to ask where's my money. But I have been through things in my life that made me see that if I don't speak up, that it's just going to be hard for me. So 11 o'clock, I said, forget this. I said, this is so disrespectful. So disrespectful. I text her at 11 o'clock, and I said hello, and I said her name, and I said, I haven't received the Venmo yet. So then she texted me and she said, I just sent this, sorry for the delay. I looked in the Venmo and it was there. Now, we didn't talk about how much I was charging her, because the last time I drove for her, the first time, I charged her $35 an hour. But since I drove their car, I was going to give them a discount. But I never told her that. So she just sent me, an amount. Now, the amount was less than what I would have charged her if I had charged her $35 an hour. And I'm thinking to myself, how did she come to this amount? Okay, but because I never told her I was giving her a discount for driving her car. So I'm thinking to myself, how did she come to this amount? The amount was fine because it was $5 more than what I would have charged her because I drove her car. So I wasn't upset about how much it was, but I was just wondering, how did she come to this amount, seeing that I charged her $35 an hour the first time, and I never told her I was giving her a discount this time. So I was highly offended by that, that I had to text you 2 hours later for you to pay me. So I called my mother. I told her what happened, everything that happened, because I was praying to Yahweh. I was like, you know what? I don't want to go back there today. I really don't want to go. And I called my mother and I told her what happened. And she said, if I was you, I wouldn't go back there. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to go. I really don't want to go. The night that my van got hit by the drunk driver, I did not want to work at all. I did not want to go. I forced myself to go. I mean, literally forced myself to go to work that day. And then that happened. And I was like, wow. So there was something telling me not to go. But I made myself go. I have to start listening to my heart more. Because when this woman contacted me this time to drive for them Friday and Saturday, I said yes, but I didn't want to. I really didn't want to. And then look what happened yesterday. So I need to start listening to my inner wishing, inner tuition, or whatever you call it. And I mean, there's a reason why we get these feelings, and we need to listen to them, and not just be so robotic. I have to go to work. I have to go to work. We need to listen to our inner. And I guess that's what I'm learning right now, to start listening to my inner, because that night of the accident, I just felt like I just did not want to work, and I forced myself. And then this time, I did not want to work. And look what happened yesterday. So I'm going to have to start listening to my soul, my spirit, that makes me feel like I don't want to do things, and just not do it. I guess, we adults, we always do things that we don't want to do because I was told by someone, it needs to be done. When I first became homeless, it was this Starbucks employee that was so jealous, so extremely jealous of me, because people liked me, because people always gave to me. And she would try to go behind my back and talk to the people that were very nice to me in a side way, kind of like shading me in a way. And she also did it in front of my face too. It was like a slight shade, but she would never say my name and stuff like that. So one day she was saying, you don't do it because you love it, because I said I love crochet and that's what I want to do. I want to do what I love to do. And so she's going to say, you don't do it because you love it. You do it because it needs to be done. I'm like, this woman really needs to stay out of my business. Really. So sometimes we don't want to go to work and do things. We don't want to do it, but we do it because it needs to be done, you know. So, but I got to listen to my heart that tells me not to go here, not to do this, you know, and not just be robotic and just do it. Oh, I need to make money. Let me go do it. I didn't need to make that money yesterday. I really didn't. I mean, I have to get a new car, so I should just take this time and just enjoy not working. You know what I'm saying? Until I get my new car. Until it's time for me to have to actually go back to work. Oh, man. And I was thinking to myself, you know, this is a private ride. I'm not working for anybody. I don't have to put up with this. I don't have to drive for you. So my battery's about to go dead. But, you know, you would think you would treat somebody with respect. I don't have to. I'm not working for a company. I don't have to show up the next day. You know, I think that was so. I'm telling you, it's just. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that with you guys because I just wish that all this racism stuff didn't even exist. It's so ignorant to me, to be honest with you. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.